Welcome everybody to another one of our Stitchcraft marketing office hours. I am Leanne Presley and I'll be presenting the topic today, strategies to navigate inflation. Probably should just go, 15, 20 minutes and then we'll open it up for questions for those of you on the call that might want to ask us about this topic or really anything. That's what our office hours are for. This topic is about inflation. I've been trying to keep my finger on the pulse of numbers lately and where we're at. We're recording this in August of 2022, and inflation's sitting somewhere around 8.25% right now. We were up as high as 9%, and everybody knows, we had outrageous gas prices and food costs were really high. So we thought it might be a great topic to kind of go through some ideas that we can share with you to keep tamping down inflation for your business. All right, so let's get started. First thing I want to mention is we always do an accompanying blog post to our office hours. And you can see down here the link directly to this particular topic and article. If you ever have trouble finding them, you can just go to our website, stitchcraftmarketing.com, and navigate over to our blogs. And usually you'll find the most recent topics at the top of the page there. So just some quick facts and figures. Like I just mentioned, we were at a high of about 9.1% in June of 2022, and now it's starting to come down a little bit. Still too high for my liking, but we've recently seen 8.5%. The consumer price index follows trends set by inflation, and that price rose to 8.5% in 2022. Energy costs are 32.9% more expensive in July 2022 than in July 2021. And food prices rose 10.9% from July 2021 to July 2022. A couple things to consider here. You want to focus on what you can control. We recommend that you center strategies that require the least amount of investment. Obviously, we don't want you to spend too much time and energy on things. And then if an offering relies on the supply chain or additional product purchases, it might not be the best place to focus right now. All right. So strategy number one is to foster online communities. What we'd like to see is starting an online community can increase brand awareness and grow your brand. Online communities don't necessarily rely on product offerings. They can form a group around a project, or they can be free to join. You can use platforms like Patreon. They can be accessed via a small monthly fee. And online communities provide another accessible to all avenue for engaging with your business. All right. We also just recently did a blog post on starting an online community, specifically with Patreon. So again, if you'd like to learn more about how to do that, you can jump over to our blog post and read more about how to start a Patreon group. So strategy number one is just some ideas for you on how to get started. Facebook has always been a tried and true platform to start a private Facebook group. You can put any kind of activity in there, like a make-along. So that might be like a quilt-along or a knit-along, or you can do monthly group projects. Like I just mentioned, Patreon is another platform that we've seen increase in popularity. It definitely is easy to access. It has a low bar for entry. Then you can get on there and do regular Zoom sessions that are just exclusively for your Patreon followers. And you really set the fee for Patreon. We have some clients that charge, $1 a month for access to their Patreon group, $5 a month. It really depends on the kind of value that you're bringing for your specific Patreon group. One of our clients, for example, Sarah Shira, her business is Imagined Landscapes. She has about 350 regular subscribers to her Patreon account. And I believe she's got different levels, one starting at $1, one starting at $5. And she'll do some exclusive content just specifically for her Patreon members. For Facebook, we've got another client, Thimbles, and also Vermont Quilter Schoolhouse, that are using their Facebook groups for make-alongs. They encourage members to come in. It doesn't have to be every single time they're doing it, but it's available for that just exclusive group. And as we know, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So an exclusive group is one way to build that trust with your audience and continue to provide value for that exclusive community. All right, strategy number 2, you can host more community events. You want to think of hosting events as kind of the next step in creating community and building community. So the more that you are fostering that space for your customers and for your fans to come together, to get to know each other, to have that sense of belonging, that's going to really reinforce that trust piece that we talked about. It's going to build your brand. It's going to build loyalty. And, we always recommend to go real light on the marketing pushy sales messages. We want this to be a place where people feel like it's their community, it's their spot, it's their people. So just to review this slide real quick, the brick and mortar businesses definitely should make use of your existing space to host events. And if you're just online only, there's so many platforms and places that you can create an online community only. Really try to expand the scope of different events that you're offering. It can be social, it can be like trunk shows, it can be more educational, like actual classes. It's really up to you and what your community is asking for. What do they want and how do they want to gather? You can also create events that focus less on your customers purchasing products and more on just the exclusive community affairs. Next strategy is some more ideas to get started. You can host classes and educational opportunities. Like I just mentioned, you can do influencers or invite craft creators to your event. It can be around a certain topic or theme. For example, I just interviewed Austin Rivers at Knit the Rainbow, and he's starting to see shops that are coming together to knit garments, accessories, and hats for his nonprofit organization. If your shop or your business maybe has something in your mission or your beliefs where you want to support a certain local organization, that would be another great idea to have people gather under the auspices of that nonprofit. You could do weekly meetups where crafters can come and just finish the projects they're already working on. Again, just kind of take stock in what you've already got and what's already existing in your community. We always encourage you to think outside the box, strategize events that run parallel to your craft focus or something new and intriguing. If you've got a big community of punch needle classes for needlers, for example, have classes that support them or showcase, new embroidery thread for your embroidery communities, or trunk shows for the knitting communities. We've got a couple of clients that are doing some really unique examples. Cactus Quilt Shop, for example, in Arizona, they do something they called a sit and sew every week. And they just open their space for their customers to come in and finish those projects. And they've told us that just because of those events alone, they've seen a really nice bump in sales. And it's been really, really successful for them. Like I mentioned earlier, our other client, Thimbles, Tammy and Jane, they do a paint party and an unfinished objects group, and they charge $10 per person. And again, they say that it's really successful. And then Austin Rivers that I just mentioned with Knit the Rainbow, he also does something called a sip and stitch, bringing people that come together for his nonprofit. We always encourage you to think about stash busting and scrap busting. I know sometimes this can be a controversial topic for retailers because they don't want to push that you're using your stash. They want customers to come in and buy brand new products. But we've really found that our clients are telling us if you do encourage stash busting and scrap busting, your customers are still going to come into your shop and buy other products. They're going to need supplemental products. They're going to look to you as a thought leader and somebody that is an expert on the topic. And so, yes, they might be bringing their stash pieces into your shop and finishing those projects, but I promise you down the road, they're going to come back in and buy from you because they're relying on you as they're the loyal place that they shop and they are loyal to. All right. Strategy number 3, when creating scrap busting projects, think about promoting the tools that crafters might need to finish the project. If they're coming in with a rotary tool and a mat, this might be a great opportunity to talk to them about when do they change out their rotary tool blade? How do they clean their mat to keep it in tip-top shape? Those are the opportunities, again, for you to be the expert and show them how to make the most of what they already bought from you, last year. You can also think about long year projects like modular make-alongs, where they might come in and do a small part of it every month, and then maybe at the end of the year you're helping them assemble all those quilt blocks, for example. And then the final strategy you're recommending ties into and bolsters the previous 2 strategies. Once you've got an online or in-person community, now you want to strategize classes and events that are going to promote that scrap busting. And this is just an example. We made up the stash pot pie Scrapalicious. You can come up with some really fun branded themes for your business. This is from Thimbles. They call it the Stash Pot Pie, and it's a class every month that they were doing this year. And it was a particular design that was focused. They had a particular design focus every month. And then at the end, you would have a beautiful quilt top that you could then turn into, add your binding and your quilt middle and bring it in for long arm finishing services and so on. All right, bonus tips and tricks. We always recommend that you focus on your inventory. Use what you've already got on your shelves and kind of mix them up in different ways. We've seen clients have a lot of success with mystery kits. We're coming up on the holidays, so you might start thinking about advent calendar kits. Mystery subscriptions. Those are all great ideas to move off the shelves your older inventory so that you've got room for what's coming next. We've also seen clients have a lot of success with loyalty programs. We've seen 49% of consumers spend more after joining that loyalty program. And if you are the kind of shop that has an integrated point of sale system or like Shopify, you might find that they have those integrations already ready to go for you. You just got to plug and play with some of those loyalty programs. And then thirdly, be honest with your customers. Transparency is always, I think, a great trust builder. So if because of inflation issues or other things happening with supply chain, you're having problems with getting products in, or you've got to increase prices because you are experiencing inflation, just be forthright with them. And I always think if you share that information and what you're experiencing, that's going to be better received. And then test your customer experience. I think that everybody really could benefit from having an outside audit or a third-party person do a secret shopper experience on your website or come into your store and have that person give you feedback and notes on, what was confusing for them. If they came in looking for something, did they have trouble finding it? If they're on your website, did they get frustrated with too many navigation options? Some of that feedback can be really valuable for you to always be continually improving either your on-site customer experience or your website customer experience. All right. Lastly, I'll just say, I know we are starting to see customers really craving more experiential marketing experiences. And, we're I don't know if we're post-pandemic. We're hopefully getting to be post-pandemic soon. where people are going to want to come back into your shop and have that one-on-one experience. And so it is really important that you take a look at how smooth that experience is for your shoppers and do whatever you can to make things more seamless. So that's a couple of ideas that we have for you in navigating the inflation that we're experiencing. And we can take questions from our folks that are on the call now.